I wanted to talk a bit about inclusive intelligence. We have talked about this already, but I think the kind of message, welcome back, Chris, message was around the old styles of leadership, such as command and control, have got limited effectiveness in today's ever-changing and increasingly diverse world. So sitting at the top of your empire and commanding and controlling kind of assumes that you know everything. And maybe in some environments that works, but actually in the world that we're operating in today, that doesn't work. And actually you need the diversity of thought, the richness of different people's experiences to feed in. And as a leader, you can have more impact by using inclusive intelligence. And inclusive intelligence is this underused superpower that enables leaders to build empathy, to lead authentically, to get better results for everyone, not just people like them. And it's all about seeing the world with an inclusive lens. And as I said before, it's something that when you start doing it, it's very difficult to stop doing it. You notice when there's a complete lack of representation, whereas you might just accept it before. So just to give an example, are people familiar with the Cat in the Hat? Some nods, some shakes. So the Cat in the Hat is one of the characters from a very famous author called Dr. Seuss. And Dr. Seuss wrote loads of children's books. On World Book Day, children all around the world are dressing up as the Cat in the Hat. Is kind of very commonly known. But there have been some recent studies that have looked into his work and noticed that only 2% of the books that Dr. Seuss wrote included people of colour. And all of those characters were depicted through racist caricatures. So this, if you're interested in the topic, there's a really interesting tangent you can go on online and kind of look into this. And there's some really interesting dialogue around, was Dr. Seuss racist, or was he just a product of his time? But the point is that so much of what is commonly accepted that we just take for granted. Dr. Seuss's books are sitting in people's books, all people's houses all around the world. But actually they are depicting racist caricatures. So really thinking inclusively is around re-examining, challenging. We've seen this with the statues being pulled down in Bristol recently, where things that just people are not questioning actually in other people's worlds are deeply challenging and deeply problematic. And actually we need to start thinking about these things. We need to start seeing these things, and looking through an inclusive lens helps us to spot things that we might not have noticed before. And one of the tools that one of the Diversily tools is called the 8 inclusive lenses, and this is really about seeing the world with an inclusive lens. And these are the lenses. There's valuing diversity, there's seeking representation, there's countering bias, creating equity, removing blind spots, building empathy, fostering belonging, and considering impact. You go onto the Diversily website, there's a Diversily toolkit, and the idea of the lenses is there's a one particular course which is called Inclusive Experience Design, and it's about helping you think about a particular experience, say your recruitment process, the events that you put on, the experience of being a senior manager within a team, within your organization, whatever it may be, and looking through each of these lenses and saying, well, what could we do differently? What are the practical, realistic things that we could do differently? And there's a process that you can follow, there's a workshop that you can run, and included in that is also the ability to look through different people's eyes.